Welcome to Rauta's Non-Metal Sunday. Today I'm going to tell you a little bit about a rock band called The Pretty Reckless, which is here now with their new album called Death by Rock and Roll. Well, nudity always works for the cover, so I guess that's the deal here with this very glossy digipack release by Century Media. Out 12th of February 2021. This is very fresh from the oven, so to speak. And I really got my copy a little bit before, so obviously I've been listening to this prior to the release date, but here we are a few days after the release, and what to tell you about it. Now, first of all, the main thing with this band is that this band is mostly known, I guess, for the guitar and vocalist Taylor Momsen, the founding member of the band, and who is also known as an actress. But she wanted to focus on the music, and oops, there we see some real nudity there, which I think might be an artistic choice in a good ways. That is, why not? After all, people should be passionate about the things they want to do. If music is what you want to do, then focus on that instead of, making movies, TV series and whatever. But with this album, it seems like this 27 years of age artist has pushed her band to a phase, let's put it this way, where it seems like it's quite safe and nice studying rock and roll. It's kind of a teethless, it's with rounded corners, and it's easy to listen. Now for some people this is a kind of like, putting out some swear words, cursing and saying it's all easy and all that boring stuff. But in my opinion, this kind of a coin has always two sides to it. First of all, easy to listen. That some people it means it's boring as hell. It's music that's not really, meant to be interesting. It's easy to just, listen and then forget and move on. It's music that is not, speaking to certain kind of audience. For the mainstream audience, then again, it's quite a different story. It's music that you can pretty much listen to, on radio, on your favorite streaming service, just any place. It's easy to just digest, and even though it's kind of easy to forget, at least it gives you this kind of a fleeting moment of enjoyment versus, being way too archy or way too, depressing and all that stuff. So obviously it depends from which corner of the scene, music scene you're coming from. I was gonna say which part of the world, but that's not what I meant. Anyhow, I'm not saying that in this case, the kind of a rounded corners rock and roll means boring. It's just, in the face that, long are gone the days of danger and certain kind of razor blade era. Now it's in the comfort zone for good and bad. Now when I was listening to this album, I had really no previous expectations. I have kind of dodged the bullet called The Pretty Reckless here, and the main reason is that me mostly being operating with the kind of rougher end of metal music, that is mostly the extreme end of so many ways, and because of that I really don't pay that much attention to rock. So me reviewing this kind of a CD is like it's like blasphemy to the fans of the band. So forgive me or forgive me not, I really don't care. I'm just merely to tell you about how I ended up listening to this and what are the good and bad sides of the album. Now coming from strong metal background, I must say this is very nicely produced overall. I really like how Momsen is, very talented with the use of vocals. There's so many ways she's, just, channeling her thoughts and visions be it more on the artistic side or just on the side of entertainment. Now, there are many songs on this album that, bring different parts of rock and roll to the table. Some are definitely more bluesy, some are definitely more happy tune, like there's a lot of certain kind of a beatless sense to it. And it's even said in one of the songs, about how playing the vinyls of mom and dad and whatever, which is, in my opinion, one of the things you are not supposed to do in music. Like, there's very few lyric types I loathe by definition, but one thing is to go into kind of a metal lyrics. Not metal lyrics, but metal lyrics, like singing about singing, or singing about listening to music, or singing about making the music. It's like why? It's like writing a fiction book about writing. To me, it doesn't really make sense. But, I'm not going to talk about lyrics here. I'm just saying that those kind of moments are when the album feels kind of too cheesy. Like it's some kind of a Disney thing. Luckily, for the most parts in this album, that's not exactly what's happening. And to that extent, I can actually say that this album is pretty well done. Now, the thing here is, be it production-wise or songwriting-wise or, playing the instruments, the production thing here is very, very top-notch. Then again, you wouldn't really expect anything else to go on, especially it's a Century Media release. And then there are songs which are rather darker, like almost bringing the teeth back to rock and roll. And one good example is that the song called 25, which in my opinion is more like a James Bond kind of a tune. Well, would be James Bond movie kind of a tune. There's certain kind of a darkness and really great feeling that I find likable a lot. I mean, if the whole album was to that level of quality, I would be praising this album a lot more. But now that I feel like it's 1/3 of this kind of a Disney rock and roll, and 1/3 is just a middle path, and 1/3 is more like this almost dangerous, or at least some kind of dark, some kind of not so nice stadium rock and roll music, it feels like it's a little bit nodding to different directions. On the other hand, it seems like the band wants to be bad, much like some of these photos by the band, kind of a dirty girl, makeup, and, like, hey, we got the rock and roll, kind of like Motorhead. No, you're not, but that's beside the point. And on the other hand, it's much like going the safe and sound mainstream ways. And then you have these mandatory homage parts. Like, hey, we're paying tribute to Beatles and to blues music and those nicer bands. And I don't know, maybe for some people that's what they're expecting. There's this variety of different styles, which then again constitutes to the fact that 50 minutes with this album is not too much to spend. You have that diversity, so it's kind of nice. But it also makes me think that this is kind of like a fan service album in so many ways. You're just delivering fans what they're expecting. A little bit sense of danger, a little bit that Disney tune that stuff, and the rest of it is just, your average Foo Fighter-ish thing, doing stadium rock, so everybody, yeah, we like it, yeah, we don't like that much danger, don't bring too much booze to our shows. So from metal guy perspective, this album is a little bit dull. But, like I said, can't be denied that there's a lot of skill behind these songs, be it, vocals or, production and all. And like I said, I really like the variety of different kind of vocals. Sometimes they seem harsh, sometimes really soft, sometimes really fuzzy and furry and warm. There's like a lot of different emotions going through with this album, which constitutes, once again, to the fact that this diversity brings a lot of value to this kind of album. Now, for people who only listen to extreme metal, or metal in the first place, this album has very, very little to offer. This is not really a metal album or metallic album at all. But those who don't really mind bringing a little bit of well-done rock and roll to their, music taste or CD collection or whatever, this might be something that you should take a listen. Now, given that this is a big band, obviously you will find the music on your favorite streaming service, and you can really get the glimpse without opening your favorite streaming service just by taking a look at the band's website, which is open here, and just, listening to the music on YouTube or whatever. So once again, you need to figure out for yourself if this is your cup of tea or not. I'm just saying words of warning for both good and bad, and then you know how to progress. Or something along those lines. Well, that's all there is to say about it. Don't do death by rock and roll, or do. I don't know. Makes no sense for me to say that, really. Anyway, bye-bye.